Game 3, Dallas Mavericks, Boston Celtics. We're going to take a look at the props betting markets and what we think we can play. And we're going to start with just some of the highest numbers for the points, rebounds, and assists. We'll break down each player and see where we can find the value. Just a little warning, these are not, you shouldn't make all of these bets. Pick one or two if you're going to play any of them at all. And that's kind of how to attack these. But do want to break down each player and see where there's value. And we'll start with Luka, who I find pretty difficult to figure out in this series. Points, rebounds, and assists. You know, he gets to 54, which is way over in the last game, but eye test, he looks hobbled. So I'm a little worried about him. We talked about taking his over 8.9 average rebounds per game in the series before the series started. Off to a great start, 10 and 11. His rebounds are 9.5. You could potentially look at that. Assists were terrible in game one, much better in game two. And the rebounds and assists is at 18.5. And his 3-pointers, I mean, minus 170 to get 3.5 over is just way too rich for my blood. So these numbers are just a little bit too high for me. So in my opinion, Luka's pretty tough to make a play on. Jayson Tatum, listen, points has not been there. 25.5 points is the point total. This guy's had 16 and 18. 3-point shooting has not been good. Only had one made 3-pointer in the last game. He has been doing pretty good on the rebounds and assist market here. So 15.5 rebounds and assists. You can see he had 16 and 21 in the first two games. Kind of a little bit of everything with the rebounds and assists. So I can't say I like just the rebounds or just the assists. He was shooting bad in game two, but he did get a lot of assists, got his teammates involved. But so that's kind of what I'm looking at here for the points, rebounds, and assists for Jayson Tatum. If anything, you're going under. Shooting just has not been good, and you're taking maybe the under on the points, rebounds, and assists at 41.5. If he has another kind of difficult shooting game, then he's probably not going to get there. So that's what I would do. Up next, we'll take a look at Kyrie Irving, 32.5. Here's another under player. 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Hasn't even gotten close. 17 and 24. Eye tested game two was pretty bad. A lot of bad turnovers. What is his turnovers? Well, it's 1.5 turnovers, but he's gone over, but you're gonna have to pay minus 199 on that. So probably not good. But Kyrie's an under at this point. Boston's done a good job kind of reeling him in. And we see there's only 3 out of the last 10 games that he's gone over this point total. So Kyrie not quite getting it done. If you wanted to add in the other categories and go 32.5, if he has another bad shooting night, yeah, he's probably not going to get there. Rebounds and assists, he's gone under. You're getting plus money there, but at home, I don't think I would take his under rebounds and assists. If you're going to play the under, it's probably just the points, rebounds, and assists. Up next, we are with Jaylen Brown. This is a guy that's pretty tough because he's kind of right around the number. There's really not really an advantage. You can see 30 and 32 points, rebounds, and assists. Points-wise, still very consistent. So, yeah, when these guys are consistently, I mean, just numbers are almost identical. The big one was the assists in the last game, but as you can see, that's an anomaly. Really not much that we can do with Jaylen Brown, in my opinion. So even the 3-point shooting, just he hits about 50%. So Jaylen Brown, not a whole lot we can do with props, in my opinion. Jrue Holiday, this is the one I like probably the most. It's his rebounds and assists. We talked about this yesterday. It was minus 112. Now it's all the way up to minus 132 to go over 10.5 rebounds and assists. Guy's just flying over 8 out of the last 9 games. He's hit it in the last 6 games. So, yeah, he's just been consistent. He gets these a lot of rebounds. You could just look at his rebounds. I mean, this is a guy that's had 9, 9, 8, and 11 in his last 4. If Dallas shoots the ball a little bit better, maybe it's a few more rebounding chances, but the guy's been averaging 16.5 rebound chances in this series. So he's getting a lot done. I would keep playing rebounds and assists. I think that's my go-to in this one. And then let's take a look at Derrick White. I know his 3-point field goals have been really good. Books are catching on. It's up to minus 164. If you want to lay it, I mean, he's been shooting the ball really well from threes. So as far as points goes, yeah, he's gone over, but just barely. And the other categories, I really don't have a whole lot for. Kind of juiced on some of these that I don't really feel comfortable. But Derrick White, 3-pointers, if you're feeling a little frisky, You think he's going to hit 3 more? Then go for it, especially if Tatum keeps struggling. Up next, we'll talk PJ Washington. PJ Washington's interesting. What's going on here is 3-point shooting. He had that huge game against Oklahoma City. Hasn't gone over this number. They're making it pay for it at minus 172. But again, you know, I guess you got to decide if they really found something with PJ Washington driving to the basket. 17 points is a really good performance for him, and they got it at 14 and a half. Even in game one, he got 14, so he was pretty close. His rebounds is interesting. He's had 7, 8, and 7, and if he's going to be on the court more, if they found something with him driving to the basket, it's going to give him more opportunities around the rim, grab a couple of extra rebounds. So PJ Washington over rebounds isn't a bad look. I won't get to the window with it, but PJ Washington might be an over player. Even if points and rebounds is 21 and a half. That might be an interesting one for PJ Washington. So I wouldn't take unders on him. I think Dallas believes that they have found something with him. We'll talk Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, he came kind of crashing back to earth after the amazing game one. Only had 17 points, rebounds, and assists. This is the only way you can play him is the under. He looked like he maybe hobbled himself a little bit, maybe tweaked the injury. Did not look good. So gotta wonder what his minutes are going to be like. There's only one way to play Porzingis, and that is the under. I would take all categories, points, rebounds, and assists in case he gets low minutes again. So, hey, if you guys are watching and enjoying it, please hit the like button. You guys know it really helps the algorithm out. Leave me a comment. Tell us what your best prop is. Did really good in the last game. We talked Daniel Gafford. He hit again. We talked Jrue Holiday. That hit. So leave a comment. Tell us what your best bet is, which ones you like, which ones you don't like. But if you could just please hit the like button. It really helps me out, helps the algorithm out. Let's WagerTalk know I'm doing a good job for you guys. 5% play still up. If you have not grabbed that, go grab it. That is our play of the week. We easily hit our 5% last week. Easily hit the play of the week before. So 16-7 run on these cross-sport parlays, and they have just been our bread and butter this year. We hit 2 cross-sport parlays last week for 8 units total on those winners. So that was a really, really good bright spot. So lock that thing in. Let's keep cashing, and I'm going to keep firing away these cross-sport parlays because they've been probably the best thing that we've had for us in 2024 consistently. They've just been our most consistent bread and butter outside of lacrosse, maybe. So, but grab that over at wagertalk.com. No promo code needed. Just go to Andy Lang's WagerTalk profile page and you'll see it there. All right, let's take a look at Al Horford. He might be a look at over here if Porzingis is going to play fewer minutes. He only had 14 points, rebounds, and assists. 1.5 3-pointers. I would take the over on this one if we think Porzingis is going to play less minutes. So he's going to get open looks. We know that. And you got plus money at this one. So if he makes 2 of them, that's a pretty easy cash. 7.5 points, kind of same thing. If he makes a couple 3-pointers, he's going to go over there. So Horford would be one that I would look at playing the over. Rebounds, you get even money at 6.5. So, Porzingis out. Big advantage for Al Horford. You're rolling dice because you don't really know what we're going to get from Horford, but I believe Horford is probably an over player in this game. Daniel Gafford, our boy. Gafford was more effective than Lively. They started to run some set plays for him in the third quarter. He delivered, had a big points, rebounds, and assist game at 22.5. I've been writing the 7.5 points. Now it's up to 8.5. Do with that with what you will, but I believed in Gafford before the series, and I think he's effective for them. So rebounds flies over the rebound total. So if you believed in what I saw in game 2, then we might have a really good chance here to cash another big one on Gafford. So if he gets the minutes, he's going to go over this points total. I believe it. So I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just take the 8.5 points, but won't play it as big as I did last game because that's the jump between 7.5 and 8.5 is pretty big. So, all righty. Let's see, what else are we looking at? Some of the lower tier guys. I really don't have much other than that Maxi Kleber looks terrible. Like, poor guy. He's clearly playing hurt. Doesn't trust to shoot. I think he was 0 for 4 from the field. He's lost. If he does it again, starts off bad, they're going to yank him. So if you can get an under on him, 3.5. It's minus 162. I don't know. The number's probably too low. If he hits 2 shots, he's going to get over, but eye test did not look good for Maxi Kleber. So, let's see. I think that is it. So if I'm trying to rank these, I think Jrue Holiday rebounds and assists is probably my favorite on that one. So if you haven't locked it in now, you got to lock it in. I wouldn't play it over -140, so I'd get that one locked in pretty good. So, I don't think I have anything else. It was a nice cash on Caitlin Clark on the under the points, rebounds, and assists. We talked about her the other day. The Fever just barely went under by 1.5 on that. So on the team total, that's what we talked about with the Fever. So I'm starting to get a good read on the Fever. They're starting to get predictable. When they play bad teams, they're going to put up really good numbers. When they play really good defensive teams, they are going to struggle. So that's what we like when we get these predictable teams. So also the episode of Tea Time we just put up, myself and Nick Borman broke down the U.S. Open. There's some good parlay pieces in there as well. It's a very, very tough course, but we broke down everything, gave you some free plays on that one. So I don't think I have anything else. I'll be back to do another video for the next game of the NHL playoffs. We did well in that one. We liked Tarasenko to go over 1.5 shots on goal. He did again. We like McDavid under 1.5 points. He went under again. So having a pretty good read on these NBA and NHL finals games. So most important thing, go get that 5% play. That's a play that I have played with my own money. It's a play I believe in the most this week. I think that's where we do our real damage. So let's lock in that 5% play and let's continue to keep cashing in the NBA and NHL finals. Again, hit the like button, leave me a comment. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see everyone next time on Props and Parlays Today.